All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's community meeting. Today is October 29th. My name is Orlin, and I'm the Harbor Community Manager. That's a CNCF community meeting, so we follow the code of conduct of CNCF. Also, that meeting is recorded, so if you don't feel like being recorded, you're free to turn off your camera or leave the call and then watch the recording afterwards. COC means just be nice to each other and respect everybody's opinion. And just be nice. Yeah. With that, I'm gonna share the link to our community meetings into the chat. Please add yourself. Um, Add your topics if you have some, and let's get going. I can see we have from Prasant some stuff. Do you want to share that and discuss, Prasant?
Yeah. Also, I see a new faces here. Can we have an intro before starting
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
If someone wants to speak out and present themselves and share company, what they do, what they joined, what they can do now.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe later, when they are
Yeah.
more courage. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay then. Um. Yeah. Let me share the screen. One sec.
Hmm.
So, so the topic is some discussions and uh, like the plans for migrating the end-to-end test, which relies on UI and have anything to do with the UI. Is not good with the robot test cases. So the plan is to migrate those into Playwright. So the proposal is stated here. If you want to share any, have a discussion about this, or like just a review, like go through the proposal, give it a review. So the main plan is to migrate all the robot test cases. That is including relying on XPath or anything to do with the UI. It's not good and it takes so much time to debug and it's not a fail fast. So I need to run every test every time to find out like what's the errors happening. So where it's coming from, it takes hours and hours of effort just to like um, make the changes in the robot cases. Whereas there is an upcoming change. If you see, look at our code uh, in our portal, you can basically see we are terribly lagging behind the current versions of Angular, Clarity, etc. So we are still using CLR icons like Clarity icons, which is already deprecated in favor of CDS icons. And yeah, and our Clarity version is still in 15, which should be the current latest version is 17, and we are lagging 2 versions behind. And in the Angular, we are lagging around 3 versions behind, and in the Node, we are still at Node 16, I guess. So like there is a lot. Yeah, Node 16 is already deprecated years ago, and the current Node version, like the latest LTS version, is probably 24. Like 16 to 24 is like a pretty big changes. So yeah, and the problem is if we can let this go around, but the problem is when new browsers come out, they tend to like stop following the old kind of node ways, so which is like those deprecated browser functions doesn't exist, and uh, it's gonna have a very big impact on the Harbor UI. Not in the current stage, but if we let it go around like 6 months or a year, when a new browser or new update comes out, UI components gonna be like failing. So while doing that, I seen that many of the robot cases fail, like all the UI robot cases is failing. So I created this playwright, so which gives you um, a pretty good video feed, and also it's specifically made for this UI testing. And yeah, and also this is can be like, we can also have new people write tests. It's pretty much easy. It's not like keyboard driven or something, because you don't need to write tests or automatically generated based on the user workflow. Like as a user, um, I go and click buttons, the test code will be automatically generated. For example, let me show a quick demo on how it's going on. So I spun up like I'm writing a new test for web UI, this one. So basically, these all these tests have been generated based on what buttons I click in the UI. So if I click, for example, go to the project and create new project, so you can directly come and
Sorry,
see what are the
Prashant, but
things.
your screen is
Yeah.
not visible.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for letting me on that. Yeah. Good. Okay. So this one. So you can see my editor, right?
Yeah.
Mm, okay. Good. So like these tests, all these tests have been auto generated. So basically, I just spun up a UI where I go and click buttons or create something. If I say project something, and then I come and see here, like these things have been written. So I don't need to manually write tests, which is a drastic gain in the developer experience. And like debugging tests also much simpler. You get a UI, you get a video feed compared to the robot test cases, where you need to like basically add screenshots wherever you make a change. So this is like automatically generated, all these things. We just need to write test, and every test is just lying within the same test case. So you don't need to like jump into multiple different files to debug a single text. So every test is siloed into its own test case, which is also a good thing. Like maintainability, like from a year now, most probably every I will forget what test cases or which files the functions exist. So that would be a great thing. So, and also the video feed is also good. So you can check out the test run. Um, if a test case fails, so this is a failure test case. You can see we get an artifact uh, which will basically say what the playwright test is about. So we can go in here. Let me get that 1 second. Okay. 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 My bad. So npx. Oh shit. Actually need to put it in the yeah. Okay, now I have this thing. So I can basically see which exact step it failed, and also a video feed of how the UI behaves on every step. Um, so yeah, so I can see it fails because of this error and things like that. So yeah. So and also it's a pretty good phase for the new contributors to get started because they would also know about the Harbor UI and what are the features in Harbor by writing tests. That would be an easy way for onboard many new people here. So if you are looking to contribute, you can basically go through the.
But I have a question before you proceed. We see a
Mm,
test failure here. How do you fix this failure?
sorry.
I mean, in your demo, there's a failure in the test, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you gonna fix it if you are using recording?
So this is a test report. Like I can see why it has failed. So because it
Yeah.
failed because of the
Uh-huh.
invalid name or password.
Uh-huh.
So I just need to change that. Like the actual problem is in robot test cases, you need to define where you need to get a screenshot. So there is a keyword you need to set,
Mhm.
like get a screenshot after following this step. But in Playwright, you basically like go through every actions. You directly get a live video, right? So I can basically figure out why the UI is going wrong. And there is no XPath involved. There is just like this component, this button with this text. So like XPath, you need all the components to be in line in XPath, whereas buttons, it's like a query. So you need a button with login, which says login.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
with XPath, if I change the outer
Mhm.
layer of the
I understand.
component,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
that would be a problem. So
Mhm.
yeah, that these are the good things, and also it's pretty fast. There is also a possibility of doing it a matrix workflow, which we can spun out a bunch of different text at the same time, and yeah, these test
So
cases will run
you
parallelly.
can it does support the expect something, right? Okay. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, but then yeah, my only concern is that if things go wrong or I
Mm.
mean it seems it's pretty easy to generate a test case, but I'm not sure how easy is it to maintain the test case.
Let me show you a quick uh, demo on this part.
Mhm.
Okay, looks like I need to install things.
Mhm.
Okay, let's try it again. Okay, good. Yeah, for example, this test case, right? So this is a debugging environment, special debugging slash tracing environment you have. So you can run the test and then actually see where's the run fails. So this one is failing because I don't have set, like because these UI tests you basically depend on, you get the errors too, like navigating to an invalid URL, like
Mhm.
what's the error, you get it. And also the good thing is you will also get videos, and in the annotations or logs there will be a possibility like which line it failed, which is not in the case for robot test. So this is good. And also like yeah, why it's failing is because I didn't export this one. So now it should run. You can see which elements it's trying to click and how it's each of those things is behaving. And
Mhm.
here you can see there is a errors, like the status code is it also captures the browser errors like 401s, or
Mhm.
like what is the network logs.
Mhm.
See, this is all the browser network logs that are going through. So you can directly find out, oh, this one failed, it's a 401. Okay, then means this API has something which, yeah, you get the point, right? So in this case, we have a login 401, which means uh, either of admin or this thing wrong. Yeah. So yeah, that is it. So these things you don't get in the robot. You don't get the robot like the browser network or the browser console, the other things. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dao Junming, you have any comments? I think it's look good.
Yeah, person,
Sorry.
have you? Oh, okay, Stone, you go ahead.
So currently we have a lot of UI test case. I think more complex than login logout. Maybe you can take an example, such as you can take a test case existing in our current robot. Just take an example to do some migrate.
Yeah, this is like a basic test case. This is more like an example, so it's not an actual test case, but the actual test case is let me get that. So yeah, this one, the DB robot. So this includes all the test cases for like creating a new user, updating it, editing the self-registration, deleting multi-users, and all these test cases. This is basically the db.robot group 1 nightly test case. So we have it working. So yeah, it involves a bit of complexity. Yeah. So this is it. So it's basically logging and log out, and then like checking if the elements is checked or not, and then enabling the self-registration part, things like that. Yeah. It's basically the another good thing is you can check the what is the element's state, which is not possible in the robot. Like you can actually get in the browser context and then check if it's a checkbox is checked, whereas just clicking it is like we are setting the state of the element, like the component. So yeah, in browser you will like just simulate clicks and things like that, but this is more like in the browser thing. So yeah. Yeah, and also for the Docker pull push, that is going to be present somewhere. Like you need to create a Docker pull and Docker push, or something to do with the Docker. We can span a sub process within the test, so that is also easier. You will get a shell basically, and then you can run the shell commands and get its standard input, standard outputs, and standard errors. So yeah, that is a possibility too. So yeah, and for the test cases, let me get that. Okay, so the test cases would be these ones. So only the group 1 nightly is the one that has most of the test cases with UI, and group 2 longevity is also includes only one test case that depends on the UI, but it's very tiny. Maybe we can yeah, I don't know if this is running or not, but our plan was to migrate this one first. So this one, and maybe the group 0 bat, this test cases, I don't know if this is needed or not. Can you guys help me out on this one? Is this needed? Group 0, it's in robot cases, group 0 bat.robot. And this API test, I'm not gonna do anything on the API test because it's basically Python files. We're not gonna migrate those into Playwright. These are the only things that has to do with the Chrome and then this UI, which is yeah.
Yeah, hi person. This is Lina from the Broadcom, and I have raised a few like concerns in your proposal, and I believe before we go into more details, we may need to have a agreement on the proposal, and we get that proposal to be merged, and then we get into the implementations. And could you like help to open the proposal and scroll down to the last comment I left?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
I totally get your point that the robot framework may not as much convenient as like Playwright to handle the XPath part, but we may have some like introduce more complex details or the complex issues when we are running the whole framework in the migrate the whole framework into the Playwright. So basically our key criteria is not to lower or decrease the current qualities, because currently the whole task framework is not only running on the GitHub CI or GitHub Actions. We need first, I've summarized a few key points here. If you can go through a little bit and add more details in your proposal based on these 4 aspects. If you have any questions, I can do more like introductions or explanations for you. And I hope you could add more details and may go through the Harvard test case more deeper and give us the solutions or the potential issues, how to resolve these issues in the Playwright, or how to achieve these above goals in the Playwright framework. That would be more appreciated instead of the current states, right?
Okay. To address this, you also did
like questions that need me to do more explanations here.
So you want me to explain this in the proposal part?
Yeah, because we are basically the key point that the whole framework needs to be like portable, or the cross environment, maybe like a Docker container that we need to easily migrate to different environment, especially using the CI/CD tools or any shells or Jenkins pipelines or different networking topologies, rather than just running on the public action CI. You get that point, right? So you need to maybe having more investigation on how the Playwright framework to be imported as a container, and to run it by trigger by a like maybe a Docker run or something that could be easily migrated to another shell script. And another features that we want is that each of our test cases relatively dependently. That means you could trigger each of the test case basically by the keywords. You could run in the whole test case, and you could run in the test case dependently by using the keywords. Or maybe Playwright have another equivalent mechanism, but the key point that you need to guarantee that different testers having the flexibility to running the test case on the different scenarios. Because eventually the Harvard is running on a Kubernetes cluster, so that have different topologies on the network and other things. So you need to make sure that the flexibility of the running the test case. And the third thing is like we are care about the unified logs, which means if you had a chance to run in the current test case, you would easily get a HTML report that you could find. It will having all the tracing reporting for each of the quests, and the as well as the screenshots. I could see you have the screenshot, but could you like maybe upload an example on the proposal, and how do we get the trace? Unified reporting things on your proposal that we could easily having the equivalent experience that on our robot case have. Okay. And some of the other points that I've delved into the Playwright things, like Playwright is not designed for a operating system orchestras. That means we have plenty of tools need to be installed or using during our even in the Harvard UI cases. I have listed a few in the 4 bullet point, so you could go through later and investigate more. Well, there's having a risk condition in the Playwright framework, because I'm still investigating the Playwright. So maybe we could together to having more investigation on this part. For the tools and the system process, like you are starting a Docker daemon with different settings, and you having using the SSH libraries that already having in the robot framework ecosystem, but maybe lack of in the Playwright, then you might need to be implemented by yourself. Then how do you handle these situations? Because we are not, maybe not, I mean, if you are not achieve the goal, we cannot just eliminate the test case. So you have to maybe, look into this part a lot.
Yeah, the one thing is, we are going to only migrate the UI test cases. That is, for example, if I migrate the UI test case, let me show you like what is actually, do I have this? No. Okay, so going to open any file, for example, let's do project member, basically this one, no, this one. Yeah, you would possibly see a lot of deprecated things such as subscribe. This one is deprecated, and there is also, you can see my linter like showing a lot of problem like observable. These things are deprecated in the latest fork join. There's a lot more things like this, so in the UI. So all these are deprecated, and there is also like unused variables lying around all over the code base in the UI.
We are talking about separate things, right? The things is all about the Angular bump up. And one more tiny things I need to like declare here is there's basically bump up the Angular versions, totally separate things and migrating the Playwright. This just because that the personal preference that Playwright is handle the X parts more straightforward. But that doesn't mean that we could not fix this issue and bumping the Angular based on the robot framework. I don't think, so you're like,
I'm just telling my motivation towards Playwright, like why I vouch for Playwright and not for robot is because when I change all these things, it's gonna have an effect on the XPath, and like changing every component XPath is gonna be tough. And also like this change is not a single change, which means we need to bump from one Angular version to the another. That is, we are currently in 16. To go to the latest version 19, we first need to go to 17, then 18, then 19. So which means I need to update the XPath 3 times. So to keep the main up to date, or else let the main fail until we get to the latest, which is
totally get your point.
Yeah.
But well, we're love to accept a more like straightforward framework for the robot case, but have like 4 key criteria from our side, from my side, to have like looking forward to your questions on looking forward your answers on this. And this is just four points that I care about. If you could like investigating more and having these all the details of the solutions on your proposal to show me how to resolve all the problems, I think it will be good we having the Playwright to be our test framework for the UI. So I just listed a few here. So I suggest you running all the different test shoot of the UI things, and you may having discover more problems, and you may having more details to be declared in your proposals. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for your effort.
I will sure add these points. One thing to know about is this is already present in the Playwright. You get a much more detailed log. That is one thing. For the system
Sorry,
processor,
but maybe giving to the log parts, I may miss something here. We already having the the screenshot things, even the video things, and do we have like the request things, the request tracking, combining,
yeah.
unified in
Yeah.
our.
So
Is that
yeah,
also a portable report or easily downloading things, or we have to using the NVM tools to having that report?
so this is more on the debug side. If you want, you can enable it. This on the Playwright config. So right config, you have a bunch more options on what you need. You can select different reporters, and
Yeah.
also like you can enable this trace. For me, I enabled it on the first retry. You can set this to like on like literally everything. So every run will generate full things, and also you can set multiple. There's a lot more things here which I didn't set, but
Yeah.
this is basically on for the.
Uh,
If you want, you can look out on the Playwright and check out like what do you want and things you need. But
yeah.
most
So
people wouldn't basically need the trace. This trace is same. So once you got the trace in the report itself, you can import that. You can basically download the trace, and then this trace will open the same thing as I showed here. So this is the actual trace. So even it doesn't matter if it's run on locally or it runs on thing. End of the day, you will get a report. In that report, you will contain all these things, including tracing. So tracing is the network capabilities and things. Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for the info. So basically, you have more like export configurations for the tracing reports from the
Yeah.
player. Yeah, that would be the good part. But I have one thing need your help to understand that before we running the whole playwright test case, we need to have the NVM or NPM tools to be installed, right?
You don't need necessarily if you want to run it in Docker. So this Playwright, you can also run it in Docker. So it comes with pre-installed with all the things you need. You just need to run those images.
Yeah. Yeah, from my understanding, if we're running from the Docker, that means the tools already being like wrapped up in these images. So what our requirement is that we need all these tools to be installed or wrapped up in the Docker images that built by ourselves. It's not just pulling from the public Docker Hub that Playwright offered. And we may have more tools like
if you want, you can do that.
Yeah, that the part that I do more explanation on the containerized things.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to having all the tools that we need to run in the case wrapped up in the container, and we just having to like start, then we can start running the case instead of set up all the environment from the beginnings. Yeah, that point you may take into considerations here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it would be good for users, but for the most users, that wouldn't make any difference because they are going to write or run the test locally using Playwright. Or because if you run the UI, you're going to basically able to run because I don't need to install anything specific. All I need to do is npm install and that's it. Yeah, inside the portal actually. So npm install will automatically install Playwright. So if you are creating the UI image, you can do this already. So yeah, it's possible. No extra setups for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be good that you having all these details like showing in your proposals. That will be more confident for us to having this accept these migrating planning things. And one more little things I have to maybe need your help that does the playwright test case have to run it in parallel, or it's like have the configurations that we could run it sequentially? Do you have any background on this side?
You mean running tests in parallel? It's an option. So basically,
it's an
everything is
option, so we
configurable.
can disable that, right?
Yes, if you want more performance, you can spin up a bunch of workers, and then they will run.
Yeah, some of our jobs or the cases cannot be run in parallel. I have a few reasons that demonstrating now in my comments. You can view more later. Yeah.
Yeah, I will go through it and update my proposal a bit more on the cross environment part. But why I didn't add that in the proposal, because for the project or open source, that doesn't matter, because people gonna run GitHub actions, and if they want to like write tests or do things locally, they're gonna use npm install. And because if they are going to work on the UI, they would basically have this already. So
yeah, but this is the things that we care a lot. So I hope you could give us more details on that. And I suggest you starting from the missing libraries that Playwright do not have, but the robot framework already having in their ecosystem. Because in case you're having any like gapping here, if you're not using SS library, you need to implement or import it from something well. So that would be a problem. I suggest you starting from the first bullet point that I commented.
So what test cases does it exist? It will be easier for me if you can give out this test case as this.
I've listed the library that we are using in our robot framework that the playwright may not have in place. In the first comment I proposed yesterday, and you could search in the code base and go through the code base to define, do you have an equivalent substitutions here in the playwright, or you have to using the library to achieve the goals? That I think that may be your part to do more investigation on that, because I don't have time to, sorry to say that, but I don't have
Could you
one.
like a challenge person, like which case may be problematic?
I mean, if you were starting from searching the library I listed in the comments, you could see which cases using that libraries, and you would see which you could see what the library used for. Then you decide do you have an equivalent substitution in Playwright or not, or how do you do that? I suggest you start from this part, then we can fixing more or fill more gap here. In case we go into more details, or you first migrate part of them, then you find out there are some gaps that Playwright cannot do. I don't think that would be a best practice for us to do the migrate. Just my suggestions here, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only library, as far as I perused through the code base, I looked at, I also like counted all the test cases, which includes the UI. It's basically 110 test cases as far as I know. We're going to migrate only those 110 test cases, and most of it comes from Group 1 Nightly, and Group 1 Nightly has around 98 or around that. And these cases basically involves nothing things. You have operating system, nothing of that. They are just like clicking through things. Maybe some things involve Docker push and Docker login, but apart from that, as I gone through the test case, which is on the things or not these things, and these things are used in the API test, and also there is other test cases which is written in Python and shell scripts. So these things use these kind of libraries.
I have to say here that some of the Python scripts also be included in our UI test. we can just assume that the UI case is just click the buttons, because before we having a testing flows. For example, if you are testing, if you're searching like a test case, we have prepare accessory that needs to be using the cosine to push a accessory to the harbor. Then you using the UI button things to click it, then check.
Yeah. I see.
That's just an example things. So
Okay.
you cannot just like separate the UI case and separate the Python script. They're just combined. So you need to figure it out case by case. So I suggest you start from the library things, because we define a lot of libraries that originated from the robot case framework that already built in. And the second, the second thing I want to like emphasize here is like we do need a pluggable or containerized framework. So I hope you could give a design here and how we build the containerized image with the Playwright framework, and how we trigger that, and how we like running the case driven by the keywords or passing the environment to the Playwright keys. Because in some like different network topologies we have in the proxy environment, or we have even the cosine key environments, some of the other stuffs. You get a point. So I suggest start from these two key paths.
I will add these two in proposal, basically the containerizing part, and I will also looks like I need to like verify it on a case by case basis, which is basically going through 110 test and then like checking out if they are having anything to do with the library. So maybe I will.
Thanks for all your effort, and we'll keep like touching, communicate on your proposal first. If you have any questions, you could add a comment on the proposals. I would love to help on this part. Yep. Thank you, Person. That's all my concerns here. Thank you.
Pratham, thank you. But because we need to be very careful. We have different pipelines running on different environment, all running the same UI test suite. So we really need to make sure that if we switch to Playwright, things will run smoothly on the different environments. One additional question from me is that I noticed you plan to run all the UI test cases in Git action. Is that what you plan to do?
All the UI tests in GitHub Actions, yes.
But then there may be a gap because for running the test cases, there may be external dependencies. Like we need to install DAX running with an LDAP for OIDC UI workflow. So you're also gonna do that in the Git action?
Not in the Git Actions. That part for setting up LDAP servers or things like that would take because Playwright doesn't have the capability to do all these things. So the possible way is to do these things externally.
But then how do you ensure we cover 100%?
I think we have a Harbor AWS or service. So I think the best is to do is create these LDAP servers or the webhook servers in there. Something stateless or something that is capable of having multiple runs, basically. Yes. So that's what my idea is.
So I think we agree that the baseline is that we need to make sure 100% all the robot UI cases are migrated to Playwright before we do the cutoff. We switch to the only, including all these LDAP and OIDC UI test cases. Right. Okay. Just want to get a line that
okay, that does mean we are not going to merge any PRs until we have hundreds of PRs.
No. But we need to, but we cannot. I mean, maintain the playwright and the robot UI cases at the same time. So I think I agree.
Actually, there is nothing
We can
on
merge some
the.
UI cases, but if you cannot cover 100%, I don't think we can do the switch.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I think
we can.
that's agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's we already agreed on that. So yeah. Okay. Basically, my plan was to set up like on the run, like while doing the test case, we're gonna have like I'm doing the LDAP test case, then I need a LDAP server, then I will create an LDAP server. So yeah.
So I have a question. As or proposal, would it not be possible to run Playwright in parallel with a robot until we have the coverage that we need, and then because the problem is that Prasant is trying to address here is to have this big bang switch. So if we slowly apply Playwright already, like step by step, without deactivating robot at the same time, to run two things in parallel, we will gain confidence and security that the playwright tests are running expected as we want. And then we will increase the coverage, like adding the test cases one after the other until we have 100% match, and then we can switch off robot. Because if we do this big bang switch over, the risk is it will take much longer to accomplish this. And secondly, only once we have made this big bang switch, we will start learning and identifying potential problems. And this way we can already identify and fix problems before doing the big bang, right? So that's why I think Prasant is trying to achieve that we can run maybe both things in parallel. That's why we will still have the 100% coverage, right? Because we have the robot coverage and then we have the playwright coverage that we increase over time.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but like Present mentioned that this is a prerequisite for upgrading the Angular. So I think we need to make sure Playwright cover 100% the robot cases before we upgrade the Angular, right?
Yeah, so maybe person could like keep working on a topic branch on the helper and running in your pipelines or the Git actions, otherwise in your at your site, and you may keep investigating the potential issues there, then to trying to fix that. But before that, I don't think we need to like merge into the main branch, cause as I said before, there might be some gap here. If we are finding that gaps later on, they will merge the code already in the main branch. That would be a very like hard situation for us. Yes, cause so Prasad, maybe you could have more details on the gaps I mentioned before. Then we could decide either you were working on the topic branch or we having this parallel. Do you agree that, Prasad?
I don't know if topic branch would. Yeah, as Vadim said, my plan is the same. Like have this playwright and robot coexist until playwright gets 100%, and then we can remove robots test cases that we don't need because we have equivalent playwright. Until then, we are not going to remove the robot test. But regarding the Angular update, so Angular update is still we can do, but the question is who's gonna be like this robot test cases all which all depend on the UI is gonna fail. So
Right.
that's why if we make the switch to playwright, uh, we don't need to do the test again, because as I showed, it's just unless or until we actually change the login button or something like that to get in or something different
Yeah.
sentences or get different meanings, then playwright test we need to change. But this internal code base changes like the version update should not have any impact on the playwright.
Yeah.
So
Right,
yes,
but
and
then I mean we can only do the switch after we disable robot. But in order,
Yeah,
but before we
do that.
disable robot, we need to make sure the 100% coverage. So that's what I'm suggesting.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think what Miner was suggesting is that instead of we trying to cover the very easy or basic case via Playwright, we cover the hard test cases first to give us more confidence, and we merge those hard cases in the main, and then we increase the coverage to 100%. Instead of we cover one or two easy cases and merge to main, then we see some issue, then we stop there. That's something we want to avoid.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, good then.
All right. That took almost the entire time. Do you guys think we need to set up another follow-up session just for this one to discuss more?
Yeah, I think we can discuss with person offline and set up a ad hoc Zoom call if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need me for this one, just drop a line so I can do that.
Sure.
Thank you, Prasant.
Yeah, one help I would be needing from Orlin is when I need to set up this. So yeah, this hard test cases, which include a lot of other things like LDAP, like webhook, or any other servers. In case if I need to like I would need to set it up in the Harbor account. So if I would have access to that, it would be much easier.
Just ping me and we can figure this out together. All right.
Okay. Yeah,
okay. Cool. Okay. Next thing is the new release and demo. I suppose that Vadim who added this one, or you presented as well.
No, this was me. I added it. So we're currently working on the upgrade of the demo environment to 14 and also to the production environment registry.goharbor.io. Demo environment is already updated to the latest version, and the production one will be updated today. Just to 14.0. Yeah, that's from my side here.
I have a quick one. Our next community meeting is exactly during KubeCon. Shall we do that, or we skip the next one?
Maybe you can do it on site for people who are at the KubeCon.
Okay.
So maybe I think it's if we keep the same time, but moving the time zone, of course. I think it will be around the time where we have the booth, like the booth presence. So maybe we can propose for people if they want to join the community meeting to come to the Harbor booth at the KubeCon, and we have a community meeting there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try this one. It's going to be noisy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
try
to figure this out. Okay.
Yeah, I don't expect to like everyone there, right? I think not everyone is coming, but those people who are coming, this will be nice to meet also in person, like a first in person community meeting.
Yeah. Another thing, this year the project turns 11 years, and that's recognized by the by CNCF and by the community. So there'll be some celebrations around that at KubeCon on maintainers summit. Me and Vadim kind of helped out with the organization and created stickers about the anniversary, 11 years. So when we are there, we gonna grab some stickers, and I'll try to distribute them across the team to ship them across the globe to whoever wants to have some. Let me just see how the prints are. So if it's worth sending it over the globe. So yeah. And last thing, we have our lightning talk and our maintainers track talk with Vadim if someone wants to add something, again, something specific, please drop a line, so we can include it into the list of stuff that we want to talk about it. For example, on the lighting talk, I want to emphasize around the AI and the ARM and some new stuff that we added. For example, the Russian translation, which includes a huge community. So that's on the lighting talk. We're gonna touch the same stuff on the maintainers track as well. But if you want something specific, like this one that we just discussed with Percent and all the end-to-end test implementations, just drop a line so we can add it with Vadim. We haven't started working on the presentation yet, but we will. So right, Vadim?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have some ideas that you think something is super important to be on the slide deck and to be mentioned, please do so and inform us so we can make sure it's added. And yeah, that's everything from my side. We have last minute for last call if someone wants to add something. Nope. All right.
I have regarding the ARM builds. I'm doing the tests now, so maybe we can have something like having the ARM part released before the KubeCon. So
that's a question to Jan. I think Jan, you provided some feedback to Rani. Rani was sick yesterday, so she wrote me that she'll be back at you with your commands, so she can address them. And I think, yeah, we'll be ready to merge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Vadim, I was thinking about like running Harbor and ARM on the Lightning talk as a demo, so we can actually show it. But we have to figure out that stuff.
Okay.
Maybe we can try something next week.
Yeah.
All righty. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. You have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Right? Bye.
All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.